Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. Joining me today on the Caddo Convos from the Flower Mound location, I'm joined by my friend Santosh Poudyal with the Wealth Builders. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, buddy?
I'm very, very well. Thank you. Let's talk about your business. What is your business and how do you serve your customers?
Okay, so I might have to give a little bit of a long answer to this one. So, how whenever I go around and sit down and talk with people, and I ask them, hey, what do you want in life? Most of the time, what do the people say? They say that, hey, I want like a better house, better cars, maybe more time with my family, vacation, and so on and so forth. So what they are saying is they actually want a better life. Now, what they are in a sense saying is they want to have a freedom of time and freedom of money. Right now, if you think about it, and that if you look around like for people, you will see like there are lots of people who have a lot of money, but they don't have any time to spend with their family people. Isn't that a problem? Yes. Right? And there are other category of people who have all the time in the world, but they don't have any kind of money. That's a problem too. Right? And then for the few of the other people who have time and money, especially like, let's say, celebrities in Hollywood, so on and so forth, they don't seem to find happiness. Right? And so for them to have that happiness, what do they do most of the time? They just like go to Africa, build some orphanages, or bring some kids, adopt them, and find the happiness. Right? So what we do is we educate people about this philosophy, this new way of thinking, which we call the new art of living, where we educate people and take the philosophical approach of how to have that time and money freedom and then be happy at the same time. So that is in a sense what we do.
That's the new art of living.
Yes.
That's pretty great. Excellent. So tell me about your typical customer. I mean, you're looking for somebody that wants that perfect triangle, I guess. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me, who do you typically serve?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any specific way that we serve any customers or so on. What we do is we do lots of like workshops, and then like a presentations in a groups, and then we can do this in an individual setup as well. And then what we do is we try to sit down with them. We try to educate them about this, like how money works, for example, like let's say. Right? What are some of the rules that is around the money that people can follow? What are some of the goals that they should be setting aside? And what we do is we sit down with them. We just try to understand their finances, right? And then what are the goals that they have? So there's an initiation point and there is a destination point that they have. Now, what they're doing is they're just trying to figure out the way how to navigate to that one, right? So what we do is we do some like need analysis one-on-one with people, and then so what we also do is we partner with these Fortune 500 companies. So any of the big companies that you can think of, like Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab, Transamerica, Nationwide, so on and so forth. We partner with them. So depending on like whatever the, let's say, strategy or a plans is going to help that particular person, then we just try to connect them to the right company. So I work with about like 200 different companies. So I understand before I understand the need, I educate people. Once they have the education, I understand their need. Once I understand the need, I understand what the goals that they have, right? And then once I have all of those figured out, then we just try to like devise a plan or a GPS, like a plan for them to go from point A to point B, and whichever company does the best for them. And that is who I connect those customers to. So that's what I do. So that's a typical journey for the customers.
That sounds pretty terrific. Let's talk about your journey. How did you get to where you are now?
Well, I mean, I think I'll have to go a little bit back on my history for that one, because I came to this country as an international student when I was 18 years old. So, I mean, what we tend to do, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with this one, is we tend to do what our circle does. So like, all of my friends, they were just coming to America, getting higher educations. I was like, I don't want to miss that. So I just came here, finished my bachelor's and master's with the goal that I'll find a decent corporate job, right? And that is what most of us are like walking in the path of. And while doing my corporate job, because I majored in finance and business, I finished my MBA. And then so I went on to work for corporate. And in the beginning, it was good, but then again, now after a while, it kind of like that monotonous life starts kicking in. Loving Friday afternoons, right, and then being anxious on Sunday afternoon, and then being depressed Monday through Friday. I'm pretty sure a lot more people can relate to that one. So, and that was one aspect. Is like I did not want my life to be stuck in 9 to 5. So I wanted to like grow, become better, and at the same time, while I was working for this investment realm, I noticed that only people who have a lot of money, like let's say $500,000 or $1 million, is someone who can afford this education or be able to leverage these services that is out there. Now, I mean, me being a salaried employee, I didn't have that much amount of money. So what does that mean? Does that mean like I do not have any kind of sort at decent retirement or a better financial future? And I did not like that idea. So what I thought about doing is basically doing the same thing where like, I'll be able to help, whoever the top people are there, I can help them out as well. But then again, I wanted to focus more on the middle class American families where, like not everybody has, like let's say $500,000 in their savings account, but they should at least have an education and then opportunity to like leverage whatever education is out there. What are some of the strategies out there that they can leverage, and then they can at least have a decent shot at whatever the goals that they have when it comes to the finances. So that was because I used to be pissed off, to be honest with you. Like when I was working for those companies, I was trying to make those companies and the CEOs rich, but I was making myself poor, right? And I did not want me to be in that situation, and I did not want other people to be in the similar situation either. So if there was anything that I could do to change that through education, I thought that would be a way to go. So that is when I, we kind of gave up with corporate, and then I just took this entrepreneur approach of where, like I educate people and then try to help them out with whatever services that we have.
I know you've met a lot of different people in your time that you've helped. You mentioned the journey. So tell me a customer journey of they sat down with you, they didn't know what they didn't know, and you've helped them to ideally financial stability, have their time back. Give me an example without mentioning names.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I really like when you say like you don't know what you don't know, because obviously there are three types of information, right? Information that you know, information that you don't know, and information that you don't know that you don't know.
Right.
And the third one kills you.
Yes.
Right. So let me give you an example, and I sit with like lots of different clients. So I'm going to give you an example of one of my friend and his kids. Now, if you think about it, in America there are two types of parents, right? One of them who are responsible, and another one who is not that so responsible, right? Responsible, not so responsible. Yeah. Now, whenever it comes to like let's say government's grants or scholarships, who gets it? The one who is responsible or the one who is not?
Definitely the responsible, because they're looking for it, right?
Well, most of the time it happens to be the one who is not.
Really?
Yeah. So this friend of mine, like he was always trying to do something for his kids, right? For his future, be it like college or whatever it is. Now, if you walk into a bank or any financial institutions, majority of the time, what do they try to like? I mean, whenever it comes to kids, what do they say? They say, hey, just open up a 529 account. I went through the same situation as well. But then again, like, I mean, in the US, we never have shortages of all of these financial products. What we lack is the education about how they work. What are some of the restrictions? What are some of the limitations of it, right? And then, so, I mean, like he went, just like any other person, he went to a bank and then they offered him 529. He didn't like it because of the restrictions in his nature. And another thing is, like, you having or not having a 529, how is that going to affect you or your kid when they try to go to college and try to apply for a FAFSA?
Oh, yeah.
Because most of the people, they do not read the fine lines, but then the details are there, right? And not everybody communicates about those things.
Because there's a limit. If you have one, you can't get the other in some places.
Or there might be some kind of limitations where you having certain, like, let's say you having 529 might disqualify you from this course. Now, the very thing that you're doing to help your kid is in a way hurting the kid, right? So I sat down with them, just like, followed the same approach, that educated him about like some of the rules around money, like, I mean, how wealth is created, for example, because at the end of the day, we're trying to create wealth for the kids for college, right? But then again, school or education is maybe one of the very many milestones that a kid has, right? The kid's going to go to college. He might get married. He's going to buy a house. He might want to do business. He might want to go on vacation, right? Now, does that 529 basically serve all of these purposes or not? No, people do not like see it that way. We only see education because that is the first in line whenever it comes to our kids. But then again, what are you going to like handle for all the subsequent milestones? Because if you are a parent and for those milestones, you tend to kind of like draw the money out of your retirement for those funding those things. Now that is going to put a burden on your retirement as well, because you might not be able to retire properly because of that. Right. So what we do is we sit down with them. I sat down with that like a friend of mine. I like showed him what are some of the options that is available, and I was able to just like get him into like a strategy where he doesn't have a restrictions on colleges, on the money that he's putting aside for his kid. You can use it for college. You can use it to buy his first car, to get married. Open up a business, so on and so forth. So there are there are strategies out there. It's just that not everybody knows about those things. And then I was able to get that to him, and he was pretty happy with what he got, given the situation that he don't have to be restricted only to college, but he can basically handle everything that a kid has. And one move of him doing that move, he just basically set his kid for not only college but throughout the retirement.
Right.
So that's what we helped him out with.
So preparing them for the full journey. Not just a portion of, and that's the trick is parents want their kids to go to college. So when they're sold a 529, they're like, okay, I've got that covered or something like that. But in my case, because I have adult children, and that's the trick is, okay, well, we got them to college and we're fine there, but they're going to graduate soon. To your point, where are their additional needs going to come from at that point? So it sounds like you walked this friend through that to make sure that now they and plus that's the other trick is a lot of the parents don't think about, okay, well, my retirement is in play now, and that's a source of money that may need to be applied. So you're looking at a lifelong, comprehensive plan.
And another thing, a funny thing is, like, let's say you open up a 529, right, for the kids' college. Your kid is like, I don't know, I have an 8-year-old, and her college is like 10 years away. I cannot guarantee that in that next 10 years she's going to say, I'm going to go to college.
True.
She might say, you know what, Dad, screw college. I don't want to go to college.
Yeah, I want to go to trade school. I want to be a welder.
Exactly.
It's like it's something different.
So if that was the case, then what are you going to do with all the money that is saved up in that account, which you cannot use for anything else? Now, why would you want to put yourself in the situation where now you have to pay taxes or penalties on taking the money out? Yeah. Why don't you just be better educated about these things and then just try to find out what is right for you and then just go that course? So those are the education that we provide to all of our clients or people.
Yeah, what you don't know, that you don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you don't.
What you don't know.
Yeah. And it definitely keeps you up at night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, myself included, because for the first like 5-6 years, the only option that I would get from people is like 529 kids, 529 kids, 529. But I didn't like it, because I mean, what if she doesn't want to go to college? Now what am I going to do with the money? I don't want to pay taxes on that one. I don't want to pay penalty on it. So what options do I have? So I'm happy that I've done it for myself at the first, because and then I have basically communicated the same thing to other people to see if that's going to help them out.
Very, very terrific. What's the best way for people to reach you? How do you like to be reached?
Well, they can call me. They can email me. I have office here as well.
At the Flower Mound Caddo.
Yeah, Flower Mound Caddo office. So they can just come
visit
meet me. Yeah, come visit. They can get my information up front. I can leave that. So yeah, that is essentially how they can reach me. And then if, like, let's say they want, like, let's say a few of their family members learn about these things as well, I don't mind just going over, like, to a coffee shop or something and then just try to give them education about these things as well. So
that's pretty terrific.
Yeah.
That's great. And all of your contact information that we've shared will go into the show notes. So if you're listening to this and want to know more, just scroll down on Apple or wherever you're taking in this podcast, and your contact information will be there for them. That's terrific. Parting thoughts for people who don't know what they don't know.
A couple of them, I would say. So what is the first one? I'm just trying to think here. What I have realized in my journey in the US, which is about 23 years now, is, all of the people that we have around, most of the time we have like entertainment budget. Yeah. Every year, like, we plan vacations, so on and so forth, but not a lot of people have a self-improvement budget, right? Entertainment gives you enjoy. Self-improvement gives you joy.
Yes.
Right. So I would recommend, people to just like spend some like amount of money for self-improvement as well. And then it's not like a new idea. If we follow, like, let's say athletes or somebody who is like performing on a high level, self-improvement is a crucial part of their growth, right? And so I would recommend people just like, look into that as well, because, all of these like mental health issues or people not being happy and so on and so forth, it all comes down to like, some aspect of self-improvement not happening. But then again, just because I'm saying that doesn't mean like, people have to follow that, because whenever we come up with like, let's say a new idea, there are three things we can do. Either we can accept the idea, or we can reject the idea, or we can neglect the idea, right? I'm not telling anyone to accept the idea, reject the idea, or neglect the idea. But then again, at least give that idea a thought. See how you can leverage that, if you can. Because my life got changed because of self-improvement, right? And it's a real deal. So, and then this financial education, because if you think about it, and if you just like go to Google or ChatGPT even today, and if you ask, hey, what is the biggest regret of North Americans? The first answer you get is not being able to, like save enough, or not have the right type of education. So if you have the right type of like financial education, and if you leverage self-improvement with that, the combination of those two, it's really going to help you live a blissful life. So so I recommend like people, just do that, and I'll be happy to talk to people, about these things, whatever I have learned, because I believe in giving back, paying it forward. So so I'm happy to talk to them about in further details about these things. So like I said, make self-improvement part of your journey, because this is the statistics, and this is a funny one, because once people graduate from college, majority of the people don't even read a book, let alone self-improvement book, right? And so there are like books that is gonna like give me all the ammunitions for you to live a better life than what it is. So if you want some growth, if you want to become better, self-improvement is the way to go. So like I said, just go out there. There are lots of like avenues that you can follow and really have a better like education and live a better life as well.
Excellent. Well, Santosh, thank you for coming and being on that Caddo Convos today. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagine. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.